Welcome to Real Talk with Garrett and Laura. Today we are going to talk about prepping to list your home.
Yes, we'll cover cleaning up your interior and exterior, creating a vision for buyers, and a reminder to plan for some fixes.
Yes, it costs money. Okay, let's go.
First things first, you got to clean things up. This may mean power washing, moss removal, hiring landscapers, exterior paint touch-up. It really just depends on the state of your home.
And this is where things kick off. And usually this is a good entry into the other fixes. But this is also where things can get personal because people can get offended with, what was good enough for them to live in isn't going to fly when listing a house.
That's right, because sometimes we really run into issues with the phrase move in ready, and what that means to one person doesn't necessarily mean the same to another.
We'll get the response, well, we live here. And it's like, yes, you do. And there's nothing wrong with your home. It's lovely. But it's just that it feels like your home. And with that probably comes some wear and tear that's happened over time that you don't really notice. And that actually leads us into our next point, which is giving your buyer a vision.
Right. And so once you've cleaned up the home, to just really limit distractions from potential buyers when they're walking in, that nothing bad catches their eyes. You want to depersonalize the space as well. And so you may have chose some really lovely warm paint colors that make the house feel cozy and homey for you. But now we'd want to paint over all those warms with a white or a gray to more neutralize the color.
Yeah. We're going to cancel out all your cozy and make it feel boring. Clean slate.
Clean slate.
We just need people to see a clean slate so that they can envision their own life there. So we don't want them to see your home anymore. And I know it can feel harsh sometimes when we're doing listing prep, but it really, really helps when listing.
Mm-hmm. And staging too can really help people picture their furniture and their life in that home, rather than having your old furniture or your old stuff or a mismatch of remove some and declutter, but we want to leave this. We really want to have staging because that kind of creates the perfect job of just making it fake enough to cast a vision for that new person without making it feel personal to the sellers of the home.
Yeah. It's like you see furniture so you can see where your furniture would go, but it's like fake enough looking furniture or a white couch, which no one would ever buy, to be like, oh yeah, like this isn't making me feel like I'm in someone else's space, because no one in their right mind would ever buy a white.
Right.
White.
Or they would actually want to sit on it and use it and for it to last more than a year or two.
Exactly. But they can picture their couch in that space because it created, cast a little bit of a vision without making it too personal. So the last thing you actually want to do when preparing to list is to plan for some fixes.
Yep. And so right now in the Seattle market, all the listings or the popular listings all have a seller provided inspection ahead of time. And this really started in March, a little bit out of COVID, but it's also translated into, because of there being such low inventory and such high demand, it's best for the sellers to have done that inspection ahead of time. That way you can get as many buyers to the door when you are on the market for that weekend, with the hopes of then the buyers being willing to remove the inspection and sewer scope and all those other things when they're turning in their offer.
Yeah. So it's nice because people tend to waive those contingencies, but we're really doing this because there are too many buyers. And so people were doing these pre-inspections and it was taking up all the time available for the showings during the time that the house was listed, because now a lot of people are doing offer review dates. So that's a whole other thing. We're aware that this likely won't last forever, but the choice to include an inspection in how things are right now with your listing means that you are going to have some items to fix.
That's right. So, depending on how popular the location and price point of your home is, we'd recommend fixing some of those little items that come up in the inspection, because they could make the buyer, could be a deterrent for the buyers, or the appraiser of the home, when the bank comes in to appraise it, could ask for it to be fixed anyway. So might as well just do it on the front end. That way it's smooth sailing for the rest of the transaction. But this usually means after the inspection of getting a handyman hired right before we go and list on the market to fix the little items. So all the listing prep are all things that will help make it smooth while we're on the market, and no hiccups happening during the course of the transaction.
Mhm. I feel like there are a lot more things to cover about listings, so we're gonna have to do this again. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big topic, and I'm sure that we'll talk more listing prep on the next one. But feel free to ask us any of your questions. We'd love to help talk you through, if you're thinking of listing your home, what we would do to help take you start to finish on it.
Yep. So keep tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.